Around 1880, one of the city's most striking historical figures was the flamboyant Charles Joe Beef McKiernan, a man that, in his own way, gave his life to the port without ever actually working there. Charles McKiernan, Irish green through and through, earned his nickname Joe Beef in the Army because he had a knack for finding plump, juicy pieces of meat. He was the proud owner of Joe Beef Tavern, an institution that came to be known around the world and whose slogan might have been something like, "Power to the people." Indeed, after the church, Joe Beef was probably the most popular gathering place among day laborers, factory workers, longshoremen, and sailors. The tavern was located right here, in front of the entrance to the Alexandra Quay, in the building on the corner of de Calière and de la Commune. After literally falling in the arms of Odélie, his wife-to-be, my great-granduncle, Owen O'Reilly, got to know Joe Beef. As the story goes, after a pint or two or three, Joe Beef offered him a job behind the bar as a barman and, strangely enough, as a kind of zookeeper. See, rumor has it that Joe Beef kept quite a menagerie in the tavern cellar. Bears, wolves, foxes, wild cats, and even bison. I guess that you could say that he was a devil of a man, Joe Beef. Not big on God, apparently, although one might argue that he was probably the most giving man around at the time. Maybe he'd seen too much misery back in Ireland, but for whatever reason, he gave a big part of his life to those in need. He helped the Salvation Army, gave generously to Notre Dame Hospital and to the Montreal General Hospital, and he always offered a meal and shelter to anyone in need. In December 1877, he gave 3,000 loaves of bread and 500 gallons of soup to the Lachine Canal workers on strike. He even paid the expenses of 2 delegations that were sent to Ottawa to defend their cause. Of course, his generosity made him very popular. Each day between noon and 1 o'clock, 300 men ate at his canteen. It took 200 pounds of meat and 300 pounds of bread day in, day out to feed such a hungry crowd. For 10 cents, clients enjoyed a beefsteak with onions, bread, butter, sugar, and tea, while the penniless received a bowl of soup and some bread. At times, some of the clients were so hungry that they would gobble up their meal with such speed that between 1876 and 1884, there were 7 cases of asphyxia, including, believe it or not, 3 deaths. Well, the pious preachers of temperance were shocked by the tavern's popularity. The tavern's patrons, well, they drank a bit too. And of course, drinks were never free. Anyway, when tempers flared, legend has it that Joe Beef would walk his bear to bring order to the tavern. Next stop, Alexandra Quay, formerly known as Russell Quay.